Bernie is a compromise between Trump and torches and pitchforks.
Is it a possibility that the police roll up on you and lock you up?
It's always a possibility.
Nearly 2 years after James Fields drove into a crowd of counter-protesters, he's been sentenced to life in prison. Fields had pled guilty to federal hate crime charges in order to avoid a death sentence, and he's set to be sentenced next month on state charges, for which a Virginia jury recommends life plus 419 years. A controlled demolition took out the remnants of the bridge in Genoa, Italy that collapsed last August, killing 43 people. Courts haven't yet determined who's responsible, but 73 people are under investigation, including employees of the private company that ran the bridge, the engineering firm that inspected it, and the 2 public authorities that oversaw them. California law already prohibits employers from discriminating against workers based on the color of their skin. Soon, California will be the first state to also prohibit discrimination against workers based on their natural hair, after state lawmakers voted 69-0 to update the anti-discrimination law to add protections for, quote, traits historically associated with race. In the first meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Trump since the Mueller report concluded that Russians meddled in the 2016 elections, Trump showed he's able to tackle the issue with the authority it demands.
Well. You've now had the chance, if you chose to take it, to see 20 of the Democratic presidential candidates on the debate stage, raising their hands, answering questions, speaking Spanish.
La situación ahora es inaceptable.
Can I tell you who's going to win the election after watching the candidates these last 2 nights? Nah, I really can't do that. But the debates, along with fundraising power and how the candidates have been doing out on the trail, allow us to at least group these people into buckets or tiers, with the caveat that it's early and anything can happen and Donald Trump is president, so who even knows? Let's just get some of the people who are on the stage out of the way. They're polling in single digits or like parts of single digits and didn't really make any headlines the last 2 nights, so they may not have the goods. Klobuchar is trying hard to be the sensible Midwestern alternative, especially when it comes to healthcare.
I am just simply concerned about kicking half of America off of their health insurance in 4 years.
And Gillibrand has wisely seized on the issue of reproductive rights to try to make a moment for herself.
Our rights are under attack like never before by President Trump and the Republicans who want to repeal Roe v. Wade, which is why I went to the front lines in Georgia to fight for them.
As sitting senators, Klobuchar and Gillibrand are and will continue to be politically relevant, but something just isn't clicking.
For the rest of America, that's what we call at home, all foam and no beer.
That brings us to the middle tier. Take former Housing Secretary Julian Castro. In the first quarter of the year, his fundraising and polling were abysmal, but he stood out Wednesday night.
My plan also includes getting rid of Section 1325 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, to go back to the way we used to treat this when somebody comes across the border, not to criminalize desperation.
Castro not only introduced himself to the country as the guy who will go super left on the issue of immigration, he used the issue to try to knock out another candidate. And he was annoying about it, which in this case is a feature, not a bug.
I helped to introduce legislation that would ensure that we don't criminalize those who are seeking asylum and refuge in this country. If you're fleeing desperation, then I want to make sure that you're treated with respect.
I'm still talking about everybody else.
But you're looking at just one small part of this. I'm talking about a comprehensive rewrite of our immigration laws.
That's not true.
And if we do that...
Unfortunately, the other guy in that exchange, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, got beat up on by both Castro and Senator Cory Booker, and for that matter, one of the moderators.
Would you support a 70% individual marginal tax rate? Yes, no, or pass?
I would support a tax rate and a tax code that is fair to everyone. Tax capital 70%? At the same rate that you tax ordinary income. Take that corporate tax rate up to 28%. You would generate the revenues you need to pay for the programs we're talking about.
That's time. Thank you.
Yes, politicians are known for dodging questions, but he was put on the spot and looked like he didn't know what he believed in. His response could have used a quick rev. Combine that with memes of jumping on tables, and that's part of why the former Golden Boy is tier 2. Moving on to the top tier. One candidate had the first night basically to herself, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
There are a lot of politicians who say, oh, it's just not possible, we just can't do it, have a lot of political reasons for this. What they're really telling you is they just won't fight for it.
You know who else has got some momentum? Senator Kamala Harris. Now, the second night had a lot of people in it who are, shall we say, viable. But the person to remember is Harris, and that's because she did it. She got the moment that you've already seen because it's been played on cable news all day. But I'm gonna play part of it again anyway.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
So she probably had that speech prepared, and she went way longer than the 30 seconds allotted, because who's going to stop a black woman from talking about race? But that's the stuff a good debate performance is made of. She got a taste of her life story out there and did it while clearly getting under Vice President Joe Biden's skin.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No.
Do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education.
Now, Biden is still a top-tier candidate, even after getting knocked around all night. He's still the guy to beat in polling. He has name recognition. And while we don't have official fundraising numbers for him, he put all the questions about fundraising to bed when he raised more than $6 million within 24 hours of announcing. I'm leaving Mayor Pete in the top tier because people seem to like him and he didn't screw up last night, though his response to the officer-involved shooting in South Bend has people thinking about dropping him down to tier 2. And Bernie Sanders gets to stay in the top, but not because we heard anything different or new from him last night. Sanders was consistently Sanders.
Nothing will change unless we have the guts to take on Wall Street.
So where does this all leave us? Well, the election is 494 days away. But remember, at this point in 2015, we were talking about President Jeb Bush. In June of 2007, Barack Obama who? Debates allow us to do some signposting. They help focus more of the general public on the presidential race. And when that happens, the situation gets more fluid. And that's what happened last night. So when it comes to who's ahead and who's behind, the rundown is definitely gonna change.
Of all the top candidates, only one has a built-in base, and that's Bernie Sanders. We watched the debate with a local chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America to see what they thought of the night.
People have got to stand up and take on the special interests. We can transform this country.
There you go.
Political revolution. What you're seeing right now is a lurch to the left, isn't it? I mean, the party is obviously
a huge shift, yeah.
I think it's a pendulum swing back because we've moved so far, the center has moved so far to the right.
If it wasn't for Bernie Sanders, we wouldn't even be hearing about Medicare for all. So I support Bernie for this reason, because he's going to be the one we push more left, and our goal, is control of the economy.
So you want to push Bernie Sanders more to the left?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely 100%.
Bernie is a compromise candidate.
He's a compromise
candidate.
He is a compromise
Well, he's going to be a transformative candidate that really changes things. Bernie is a compromise between Trump and torches and pitchforks.
What is it about this moment that makes it so ripe for DSA?
Well, it's necessary now. Like, socialism is necessary. In terms of climate change now, it's the only option we have. I'd go as far as saying socialism or extinction at this point.
So what do you think that Bernie should be?
Abolish ICE, living wage, translate. I think the biggest thing for us, he represents a bold change to a current system and challenging and really reworking society is what we're
But he's the closest guy on this stage right
now.
now.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would like to see free food, free housing. I mean, and Bernie ain't talking about that yet. That's why he's a compromise candidate to me.
Mainstream Democrats say you're going to fuck the whole thing up. Donald Trump's going to walk back into the White House because you guys want free food. You just asked for free food.
That's how they sold us Clinton.
How did 2016 go?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah,
what happened in 2016?
That's how they sold us Clinton. They said, oh, if you don't vote for Clinton, it's a vote for Trump.
If he wasn't there, would you be watching this?
We'd still be watching it, but we wouldn't.
I think we'd be too
Yeah.
excited
I'd
about
be
it.
a lot less excited about it.
Right, yeah.
They did hear that you're a bit of a Warren booster.
I'm more in that camp.
Yeah.
But I mean.
More so than Bernie.
Yeah.
I honestly
Diversity
go
of
either
thought.
way.
Yes.
Bernie, Warren,
But is she up there on the list of candidates that you guys
I
would
would
hope
love
for?
a Sanders-Warren ticket. That would be beautiful.
Yeah. And like I've heard people say Liz Warren is a capitalist and this and that, but it's
I've
like
heard Liz Warren
I'm
say
sorry.
Liz Warren herself.
Yeah,
says
Liz
that.
Warren herself says I'm a capitalist, but I'm sorry, if your capitalism comes with 40% worker ownership and strong new oversight on major corporations, I'm kind of okay with that.
I disagree with that statement.
I disagree.
I
I
want to
mean,
just go
like,
on record.
For now.
I think it's a huge step in the right direction.
It's a movement in the right direction.
If let's just say that Joe Biden gets through, becomes the nominee, you guys support him?
No, not at all.
Nobody?
It's going to be super.
I would have to think long and hard
Define
about that.
support. Will I go to the polling booth and begrudgingly push the lever
Yes.
for him?
Yes, I will do
because I'm a
that,
swing
yes.
state voter. I live in Nevada, and I do not want another 4 years of Chino Mussolini.
Sur tout le front de 1914. Les traces sont toujours visibles actuellement. Les cicatrices laissées après la guerre sont toujours encore présentes. Presque, on ne peut pas vraiment le décrire. Moi, mon travail consiste à nettoyer les restants de la guerre.
Ceux qu'ils ont trouvé, vous voyez, ici, là, il y a une coupe en exploitation. Quand je viens faire un tour, ils me font signe, et puis, tiens, il y a des obus là-bas.
C'est bon. Hop, il y a un gros pétard. Sa fusée n'a pas fonctionné parce qu'il y a eu un défaut technique, mais l'intérieur, le chargement est toujours encore bon. C'est bon. Ça étonne quelquefois les gens quand elle les prend comme ça avec des gants, mais on n'a malheureusement pas de système qui permet de chargement automatique par la pensée vers l'engin. Voilà. Malheureusement ou heureusement pour les soldats qui étaient en face, il y a eu un problème technique où l'obus est tombé trop plat, où le sol était trop mou, où il y a eu un problème au niveau de la fabrication de la fusée. Si elle n'est pas transportable, elle sera détruite normalement déjà sur le terrain.
Quand vous êtes ici, vous voyez les trous d'obus, les tranchées, les sapes, les abris, les vestiges de guerre. Alors, t'as combien de taupes, là?
Là, j'en ai 5.
5. C'est vraiment hanté par le passé. 75.
Il y a eu tellement de destruction qu'on ne retrouvait plus que certaines pierres, des arbres morts, des animaux morts, des hommes morts, partout. On peut estimer en moyenne qu'il y a, sur notre secteur, 25% des obus qui ont été tirés n'ont pas fonctionné. Pour donc, l'année 2018, le centre de déminage de Metz a ramassé 53 tonnes de bombes. 2017, on était à 48 tonnes. Il a été calculé que nous aurons encore du travail pendant 3 siècles. Le printemps, c'est le début de notre saison. Les gens commencent à retravailler un petit peu la terre pour préparer les semis.
C'est français, allemande, ça? C'est français.
Ce qui se passe, il y a tellement de ferraille concentrée sur ces zones-là. Lorsqu'on récolte les fourrages, ou les vaches pâturent elles-mêmes dans les prés, elles ingèrent des petits bouts de ferraille, des tout petits éclats qui viennent piquer l'intérieur de la bête. Donc pour cela, en préventif, on met des aimants pour essayer de capter la ferraille. Donc là, on a l'aimant. On vient, ça va peut-être pas forcément être facile. On vient en dessous. Et voilà, c'est posé. C'est le seul moyen de préserver l'animal.
Donc aujourd'hui, on a ramassé au cours de notre récolte une bonne quarantaine de grenades. Certaines présentent des dangers, d'autres pas. Donc par exemple, là, on a une grenade P1, grenade à percussion. Si je la laisse tomber par terre, elle peut fonctionner. Donc cette grenade-là sera détruite. Elle n'ira pas en position de stockage. Après, c'est vrai qu'il y a un certain danger qu'on accepte, nous. J'ai connu des gens qui sont morts en faisant ce métier. Malgré les accidents qu'il y a, il faut continuer. C'est bon. 3, 2, 1. Quand j'entends tous ces dirigeants extrapoler, faire des menaces à droite à gauche, moi je les invite à venir avec moi sur le terrain à Verdun. Eux, la guerre, c'est j'appuie sur un bouton et je donne un ordre, c'est tout. Mais ils n'ont jamais été voir en réel ce que c'est. C'est malheureusement dommage. Personne ne retient la leçon.
You got the knife?
The Pothole Vigilantes have struck again. Raggedy streets are pretty much everywhere in this town. They come in all shapes and sizes, and everybody hates them.
You don't have a choice. Your tires don't last, your shocks are bad, springs, everything goes bad.
And the taxes keep going, the property taxes keep going up, so what are they doing with it?
We're talking about practical things that need to be done to maintain a city. And if your streets aren't working right, well, then the rest of the city isn't working right.
At the end of April, a couple of guys started filling these potholes in the middle of the night, posting about it on Instagram. They call themselves the Pothole Vigilantes. The photos got lots of likes, which then led to a GoFundMe for donations. But it's unclear if any of this is legal.
Is it a possibility that the police roll up on you and lock you up and put you away for doing this?
It's always a possibility. We don't believe it will happen. It's probably like a gray area, so we'd just rather just remain anonymous.
Do you guys have regular jobs?
Yeah, I head up data analytics for a media company. Yeah, and I'm a student just trying to get into a master's program.
And by night,
Pothole Vigilantes.
Pothole Vigilantes.
Pothole Vigilante. We've been living here since 2013. No matter where you go, where you live, it's, you know, you can't go one block without hitting up a massive pothole. After so many years, we just kind of decided to do something about it.
Tell me what I'm looking at.
Pothole Vigilante hit list. Yeah. This is what we've done and what we're gonna do. The green ones represent what we've done. The blue one represents what our network done or other people have done. And then the red ones are the to-do potholes.
Now, I see 3 green ones way up here.
Yeah.
How'd you guys get up there?
That was a big donor donated $500 to fill some in the Oakland Hills, so we went out there.
Okay, so this is rich folks up here.
Yeah.
That gave you big money.
Yeah.
To fill potholes that cost maybe $50 to $100.
Right. Yeah.
And then you use that money to go fill in some of these down here.
Yeah. Right.
Ah.
Turns out in the land of Reagan, trickle-down economics really does work, at least when it comes to filling potholes. The Vigilantes have filled over 50 with the donated money. 2 weeks after they started doing their thing, Mayor Libby Schaaf called the Vigilantes out on Twitter when she announced a $100 million plan to repave city streets. Then a few weeks later, The city allocated crews to tackle the pothole problem, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, we get about 4,000 pothole requests a year at this point. So what you see behind us is our pothole filling crew repairing some serious breaks in our asphalt.
So how long do you think it would take for you to fill the requests of 4,000 potholes?
On average, it's the reality is we get more requests than what we have budgeted to fill.
Have you heard of the Pothole Vigilantes?
I have. As much as it gets some attention, it might be fun on the internet and get some retweets, the volume of their work is really minimal compared to what our guys can do. During this pothole blitz, we're approaching 5,000 potholes that we've filled.
You gotta admit, like, it's kind of cool that these citizens are just like, you know, we got potholes in our streets, we're gonna figure out how to fix them, at least in the meantime, in between time, until you guys can bring in the big equipment and pave the streets over. You gotta admit that's kind of cool.
You know what I think is cool? I think what's cool is government doing what they should do for their citizens and really putting efficiently and effectively tax dollars to work.
Why is it taking so long for you guys to figure it out?
And the reality is, if you want to maintain it, you want to fix it, you got to pay for it. We have this nationwide crumbling infrastructure problem, and a lot of that's because we've chosen not to fund that activity. We just passed our paving plan. Rainy season just ended. We're out here. We've got contracts ready to go, trucks ready to go. We'll be paving a lot of streets this summer, so we got this.
Across town, the vigilantes were giving out bags of asphalt to folks who don't feel like the city's got it.
We love Oakland, we live here, you know, there's too many fucking potholes, so we're just trying to fill them.
The city is like, hey, Pothole Vigilantes, we appreciate what you've been doing, but I think we'll take it from here.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, they said that. They still aren't doing it.
Like, who knows what would have happened if Pothole Vigilantes didn't exist? Like, it could have just been in limbo that the city was just like, yeah, we have this money budgeted, but we're still trying to strategically think about when and where to start.
So I see your shirt, taxation is theft. Are you a libertarian?
I would identify myself as a libertarian or somebody who appreciates everyone's liberty, yeah.
And so this situation right here is right up your alley.
The number one, like, oh, I gotcha kind of thing people say about libertarians is they say, well, who's gonna fix the roads? And this is proof in itself that we can fix the roads. Nobody needs to hold our hands and go out there and do it for us.
I think Ayn Rand will be proud of you.
Or Ron Paul.
Ron Paul was the last name I expected to hear in this progressive paradise, but here, potholes trump politics.
Looks like one of our fellow Pothole Vigilantes filled the pothole that we were gonna do tonight. A few of them. Man, that was fast.
That was fast.
It's good. One less we had to do.
So you mean to tell me all of this work y'all do twice a week, you're not taking a little of that money that's being donated?
It all gets donated.
It's all community service.
You wanna drive over it?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm saving the streets.
There you go.
Are we done?
We're done. You're a vigilante now.
And a hero.
You're a hero. Modern day Batman.